Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is answering your financial questions. Alrighty, we are live. And sorry about the delay. We have verified that we have audio working, which is always good if you can't read lips. All my information is down in the ticker below. I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and as it says down there, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And my financial content would be, let's go to home here, right below the Oak Island playlist. Got a 5.1 thousand view one recap 2 Tuesdays ago. It did not come on, that wasn't a new episode last Tuesday. So that's good. It's probably the highest viewing one that I have had. But otherwise, my financial content is the Ramsey Show After Show. That would be 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time on days I'm not working in the morning. And this stream answering your financial questions with Ramsey Solutions Certified Coach Steve Money. Hey, that's me. We do that at 8 p.m. Every so often there may be a reason where I would do it at a different time. But that, especially on the weekends, that would be an answering your financial questions. And if I'm working in the morning and not at night, you're more likely to get the 8 p.m. stream answering your financial questions. Okay, let's answer some of those questions. How I got my partner on board. I saw that it was longer than that, so I opened the whole thing. Let's check it out. Me and my partner, that would, of course, in the King's English, be my partner and I disagreed on money for years, always fought when money was discussed, and I was always the bad guy. Duh. Saying we couldn't afford things. He never wanted to look at the budget with me. Men's, am I right? Probably because we always ended up fighting. When I discovered the Ramsey Show, I thought this is the way to go. I started listening to it all the time. So he would hear it in the background. I'd tell him about the really crazy family dramas that came up. Or can you believe these 28-year-olds paid off their house? I didn't outright suggest we do it, right? I hear you. Trying to be sly there. Then I started hearing him watching Dave Ramsey shorts. It was starting to warm its way in. Haha. Yeah, you have to trick them, the spouse, or in this case, partner. You have to trick them into thinking that it's their idea. That's all. That's all you got to do. So after a while, I suggested we completely redo our budget from scratch, following the Ramsey principles, and just see what it looked like. We did it and made a 5-year plan for paying off debt, paying extra to the mortgage, and adding more into retirement. It went great. We're on the same page now and do fortnightly updates. That would be every 2 weeks to see where we are at. I just wanted to post this to share a positive story of getting a partner on board. Right, that is one of the most frequent questions because it's most people will not follow this advice. Most people will not at all, and it's very likely if you and your partner or spouse have never talked about money or don't agree about money, it's possible you'd be in this situation. Our relationship has really improved too. Yeah, because you're working on getting to the same spot, whether that be just in your marriage or financially. Edited to add, he is my husband. Yeah, just in case anyone is slating me. Wonder what slating means. Or I don't know. Me for sharing finances with a person I'm not married to. Heaven forbid. Haha. Okay. Well, so if he's your husband, you could just say husband. You don't have to say partner, I don't believe. Now you can say that, I guess, for people you aren't married to. But if you're married to the person, why not just say spouse or husband? But anyway, that's the basic deal on that. You just have to trick them to make them think it's their idea if they are not on board. One final debt to pay off. Information key 3816. I very stupidly financed a car, and that's it. And so I should have just bought a beater for $1,000 to $2,000. Yes. However, I like to drive DoorDash. However, I don't give a crap about that. For a side gig, and having a comfortable vehicle was a major want in my plan at the time. It's a want, right? You didn't need it. You chose to do that. That would not be the advice at all. So I put my $2,000 as a down payment and have been making the $700 payment for a little over 3 years, and if 34 payments left, that is so dumb. That would have not been the advice at all. You did it wrong. Currently owe $18,000, where I'm at with the baby steps. Should be a colon there instead of the period. I have $1,000 in my savings account. Oh my goodness, something that the person did right. Step 1 complete. Step 2, two outstanding debt collection accounts from a divorce and that car payment. I was recently able to contract a debt negotiator that was able to get one of the debts completely removed. Yeah, I don't know about that. Most of those debt help places are scams. Anyway, the second one isn't taking mine or negotiators' calls and isn't okay. Well, okay, so you did it wrong. You should have already been out of debt because you wouldn't have had that $700 payment every month. So you did it wrong. You think your one final debt to pay off, that would be this car, or you have that other the other collections debt, but you would pay off the car, which is a current debt, before you would even address the collections call. Now, if they call you and offer you a really good deal to settle, then sure, you can take that. But otherwise, you let them sit till the end. But you did it wrong by taking on more debt. See, that's the problem. And I don't care if you have a side hustle. Has the side hustle completely paid it off after 3 years? No, it hasn't. So you're dumb as crap. Don't do that. Odd maintenance, Dave. Odd maintenance 123. Excuse me. Dave Ramsey's thoughts on high cost of living areas. They're fine, but you have to have high cost of living wages to buy a house there. You don't get a pass and on the advice of buying a house 15-year fixed, where the payment is 25% of your take-home pay. And if it's more than that, you're buying too much house. And so again, you need to make more money or you buy a cheaper house to live in the high cost of living area. You won't be having a nice house. Let's see, everyone, my husband and I did the debt snowball method. Great. We paid off all of our debt and are on baby step 4, but I feel like for me that I'm struggling more than ever. I was able to pay off $90,000 over 3 years and cash flow our wedding. Great. That was back in 2017, 2020. We had a baby in 2022, and I've been paying full-time daycare, which is about $23,000 per year. That's a lot. Hopefully both of you are making more than that. Oh, they both work part-time. Okay. All right. We bring in about $150K a year, but take home is really less. SS with 3 S's. But we all know that. Yes, we do. Our mortgage is about $1,700 per month. We live in a high cost of living area. State is second or third in the country for highest cost of living. Yeah, and you probably bought too much house. How much was it? 150. And they're paying 1,700 a month. So the 150, that would be, what did we say? 2.5. So that would be $375,000 mortgage would be the max. And I feel like for me, let's say I just feel like we've stalled out on baby step 4 for a while now. Well, yeah, because you might be paying too much money. Let's see. Let's see if it says how much the house was. And can't even think about 5 as it's all going to daycare, groceries, gas, holiday. Okay, holiday is optional last I checked. For the holiday budget. Yeah, utilities and home repairs that are also budgeted. Yeah, I mean that's another reason that why you shouldn't buy too much house. I was hoping by this step I would be able to cash flow a trip on top of everything. Yeah, you can't have everything all at the same time. You're already behind the 8 ball by trying to live in a high cost of living area, making only $150K a year. But of course, the $23,000 a year in daycare, that makes that even more so a problem. Because health insurance and the cost of groceries and tuition is going up faster. What tuition? You mean are you saying tuition is the daycare? So, but yeah, that's how it works. You cannot do everything all at the same time. You have to pick the ones that you can do. So if you want to buy too much house, if it is, let's just see. Let me get the old calculator up here. What do you say? 150 a year. Oh, and that's not even, that's, yeah, take home is less. So it wouldn't even be that much of a house. Let's see. So let's go, 20% maybe. So times 0.8. So it's 120. So that is 240 and 60. So $300,000 mortgage. But so that's 128 a year, divided by 12, and that's going to be 10,000 a month. Yeah. 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 10,000 a month. Okay. And so in that case, 25,000 or 2,500 is going to be the, 25% of it. So that seems to be fine. It's just the problem is you apparently are able to do the necessary things, and if you want to keep both of you keep working, the daycare is going to have to happen. That's it. That's the story on that one. And you were able to pay $90,000 off in 3 to 4 years. And so, but now your problem is you want to spend money on other things and you still can't do that. Start out in baby step, right? So baby step 4, now you have money going into, which you shouldn't have done before. It didn't seem like you were. If you were able to pay off 90,000, I'm assuming. You weren't investing for retirement, which you should not do in baby step 2 or 3. But yeah, there's no holiday budget, like not a huge one anyway. And there's also no trip. I was hoping by this step Well, the problem is, how much has your pay increased? If things are going up, your pay has to increase. And by being in a high cost of living area, you are putting yourself behind the eight ball. And so it didn't, there was not a question here. The thing is, Dave Ramsey's thoughts in high cost of living areas, it's that you don't get a pass on math, so tough crap. I mean, that's probably a little bit harsher than he would put that, but you don't get a pass on the math. Sorry. I mean, what, you would have to stop doing one thing, uh, stop doing something, which it seems all of the stuff is necessary. Now, the home repairs, if that's remodeling, that's cap. And so you wouldn't be doing that either, especially if you want to cash flow a trip. So, but I got a great idea. Make some more money. Work part-time in addition if you want to spend more money. Otherwise, it doesn't exist, apparently, right? You're saying it doesn't exist. But it's very interesting. The title, I guess, is the question, but there's nothing like that is asked in the body of the comment or question. Just complaining that I was hoping by this step I would be able to cash flow a trip. Well, and you could if you didn't live in a high cost of living area, probably. And I mean, everything adds up. If you didn't have X number of home repairs, if you didn't have, I mean, 1,700 a month, that's not crazy, I guess, for a high cost of living mortgage, high cost of living area mortgage. But also, if that's on a 30-year, guess what? Can't afford the house. You bought too much house, and so you could blame it on that. But it's also the decision for both of you to work and pay out $23,000 a year for the daycare. Now, that would seem to, from the numbers you gave, if it's about the same amount that each spouse makes there, if it's approximately the same amount, then you are having a net positive by both working. But you have to figure out how to change your situation. Got a great idea. Move to a suburb, perhaps, or out of the city, something like that. Yes, it'll be a pain in the butt to commute to the city to work. But houses will cost less out there. So again, you're not guaranteed. None of this, the baby steps, they do absolutely work, but it doesn't say here anywhere on here that you are guaranteed to be able to cash flow trips on step 4. And yeah, step 5, save for kid college. Can't do that because too busy saving or actually paying kid daycare. And that's, though, your choice. Again, you are the one that is painting yourself into the corner with this stuff. And that would be around approximately the Dave Ramsey thoughts on it. He has definitely said you do not get a pass on math because you do that. And it doesn't matter how, we paid off 90,000. Great. If you paid off 90,000 over 3 to 4 years and cash flowed a wedding, then what has happened since then? Oh, we had a baby. Had the baby. And yeah, babies take, so that's 23,000 added since the 93. So, but where is 67,000 going? Over 3 or 4 years, where's 67,000 going? Some of it going to step 4, investing, I'm sure. So yeah, that's the problem with the debt snowball money. And not a problem. That's just the way it works out. All your extra in baby step 2 goes to pay off your debt. All your extra in baby step 3 goes to grow the $1,000 starter emergency fund into the full emergency fund. That's where all of your extra money is going. And then baby step 4, 15% of your gross income, that may be most of your extra money. And so you don't have money left to do anything else. And the only way you can fix that is to make more money or reduce expenses elsewhere. Let's see. Offer guidance and advice. Their approval matters little if you have peace of mind with your decisions. Right. But they can't make their decisions work because they're trying to do everything. So I think you're fine. In a few years, you'll be able to divert that daycare money into 529 and fill up really fast. Yeah, could be. Just got to wait for the child to get old enough to go to school. Or if your working situation changes, that may change everything else around it. Or, again, make more money. This is Eingle Ikes. I don't know what that means. E-I-N-G-L-E, E-I, or I said E already. E-I-C-H-E-S. No idea. Too optimistic. Well, I'm pretty optimistic myself. Let's see. Listen to a few Dave Ramsey episodes over the past week. Congratulations to you, sir or madam. Aside from the religious stuff to which I've had enough exposure as a child, I mostly like what I hear. Great. I'm so glad that the show has your approval. I have no consumer debt. Great. But with my earnings, I could definitely be saving more. Yeah, you probably could. Most people probably could. Also donating more for that matter. Yeah. I will take that inspiration. I have one quibble. Of course you do. And you're sharing it with us on the subreddit. This is reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, by the way. Forgot to say that. Not run by Ramsey Solutions. It's run by fans. Where were we? One quibble. Let's see. The projections of how saving a few thousand a month will lead to millions is repeated quite often. In my opinion, this is much too optimistic. That you're more than welcome to have your opinion. I don't care. I don't care. Mr. Ramsey doesn't care either, probably. Saving $2,000 a month at 5% for 10 years only gets you to $300K. Nobody's saying to do that. You don't have regular savings in the, it counts, but that's not the main tenet of the step 4, definitely, because that's investing in the market. And that's not at 5%. That averages 10%, and your managed mutual funds, which you should be having instead of the index funds, makes more than that on average. So that would be more than 10%. So by you limiting yourself to a savings account, I don't know why you think that that was the advice to get you to do that. You don't save extra. You don't save extra. If you have a house, you would be paying more on the house before you invest more than 15%, but you would be investing the 15% of gross income. Nothing far from millionaire status. He didn't say to save it. They didn't say to save a few thousand in a savings account. They weren't saying that. If maybe they weren't completely clear that it should be investing to get to millions. But when he's talking about millions, he's not talking about money in a savings account, not even money in a high yield savings account. So you are nutty. Does anyone else have this impression? That said, I'll probably add some questions about the Dave Ramsey plan and how I could apply it to myself in the future. No, you would start now. Not starting right now would be dumb. What do you got to do before you start making your finances better? Given how much I earn, it's pathetic how little I have saved outside of retirement. You're not supposed to if you have a house payment still. You pay off the house before you invest 1 penny extra. You do not do, again, people trying to do stuff all at the same time. And people do that all the time. That's your financial bro advice. That's debt leverage. And Mr. Ramsey is not only the no debt guy, he's the no debt leverage guy. And that means you are not still making a house payment, but you are saving extra outside of the retirement other than your 3 to 6 month worth of expenses in your full emergency fund, except with lower expectations. Well, that's your fault because you're just putting it in a savings account at 5%. You're doing it wrong. You're understanding it wrong. I don't know. Don't know why you would think that. Why you would think that that will get you to millions, and that was not what they were talking about. They were talking about retirement or investing. Now, once you pay the house off, then you can invest that mortgage payment, and that gets you to millions faster. So yeah, it works. You just don't understand. People are nutty. Oh, let's see. What do I got here? I got a moment. What up, AJ? What up with me? Finally finding some time to do a little streaming. Hopefully, that will continue. It's been a crazy time the last couple months. Paragon Penny. People who paid off their homes in their late 20s to 30s. How has this affected your life? Okay, well, I kind of did when I sold the house. I didn't have that mortgage anymore, and so that's basically paying it off. So, but I don't think I am your target audience question here, or I don't know. My situation didn't apply to that because my ex-wife and I sold the house. Let's see. Looking for anybody. Do you have any regret not investing heavier in these years? Okay, this definitely doesn't. So again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to do debt leverage by keeping the mortgage around like it's a pet. Mr. Ramsey does say that often. Keeping the mortgage around like it's a pet and investing more instead of paying off the mortgage. Again, you see the baby steps? They're right here. It says baby step 4, invest 15% of your gross income into retirement. I do not see invest more anywhere else on here. And you do steps 4, 5, and 6 at the same time, but not 7. So you're doing it wrong by debt leveraging the way you want to do. And if you want to do, knock yourselves out. I truly, fully support anybody that wants to do money their own way and not follow the Ramsey plan. You're the one that makes the money. You're the one that has to live with the situation. Let's see, longer time period in which it's been since your house has been paid off, the better. Looking for as much information as possible. Thanks. Mr. Ramsey, and it doesn't work all the time. It just works most of the time, but doesn't work all the time. He asked a person, if you had a paid off house, would you go take a mortgage out on it to invest more money? And most people say no. A couple people have said yes to him on the phone. And he says, well, I guess you would do that then. And so, you get to do your own thing. But that is not the Ramsey advice. That is debt leverage. And Mr. Ramsey is not only the no debt guy, he's the no debt leverage guy. Spiritual Language 97. Starting my saving journey this summer to buy a car in cash. Advice needed. Well, I just went through this. This is part of the tribulations of the winter tribulations of Steve. But I'm fine. No need to feel sorry for me at all. My transmission died, and I decided instead of putting a new or even a used new to me transmission in a 2005 automobile that did not have any that doesn't have air conditioning and has several other problems as well that I was just living with, decided not to do that, and so I bought another car. And hey, you're not going to believe this, but I was able to find a cheap car. A lot of people say you can't find any in your car, any cheap cars. I found a 2016 Dodge Caravan for $3,500. And that's cash. And so I paid that in cash because I had that in cash. So did not have to lease. And so if you think you need more than a $3,500 car, then you are incorrect. You are again painting yourself into that corner by doing that, or saying, oh, it's not, if it's a used car, it's not safe enough, it's not new enough, it doesn't have, yeah, mine doesn't have, wireless in there, it doesn't have auto start or remote start, excuse me. It doesn't have any of the newer bells or whistles, but it has a bunch more features than my previous vehicle. Anyway, 20 years old, don't have a car yet. I'm planning to buy a used 2011 Nissan Altima for about $3,200 this February. Good job finding it. It'll be my starter car, but my long-term goal is to upgrade to something like a Toyota Camry, Honda Civic, or Honda Accord, and those, of course, would be Toyota and Honda would be your best reliability, supposedly. Once I'm more financially stable, yeah, you can upgrade car. You can do that. I would never do that. I drive mine into the ground because I don't give a crap about cars other than their ability to take me from point A to point B. I'm in community college right now and not working yet, but plan to start my saving journey from mid-May to early September. Hey dog, where's the money for the car coming from then? Is that like birthdays and Christmas or something? I'm hoping to work at a warehouse, supermarket, or restaurant and save around 6 to 9K this summer with overtime. Okay. My bigger goal is to save between $20,000 and $45,000 over the next 3 to 4 years so I can buy my next car in cash instead of financing. Got a great idea. You don't need a $45,000 car. I would suggest you're in community college now. Are you going to go to regular college? If you're going to go to regular college, how are you going to pay for that? And so you should be saving for that. That is much more important than upgrading vehicle. You are, I guess, probably standard 20-year-old thinking there, but you are nutty, sir. Or madam. Do any of you have advice or tips? Yeah, don't do that. If you end up having a lot of money like that, for whatever reason, and do not have any big expenses coming up, like for your college tuition, after your community college, if you don't have anything, and if you get a job and start working full time, in like a career position because you're not going to go to four-year college, then maybe at that point you would do that. But then you might also want to be looking at saving up for a house instead of a car when you have one that works just fine. 20-year-old, just a kid. I was dumber way. I was dumb way past 20, so I get it. I get it. And men do be loving cars, not me, but a lot of them. Straight Aardvark 439. Okay, another crooked one. Got it. Juice is worth the squeeze. Okay, and that's a fun saying. That means it's not worth it. That means that, it like takes a long time to squeeze it, like that kind of thing. And that's just a metaphor or metaphor. Metaphor is where you say that something is something. Simile is where you say it's like something. But we're just calling it basically squeezing an orange for the juice. So what is it now? Let's see what the dealio is. Baby step 4, flare here. I followed the baby steps and completely debt-free. Fabulous. I have a 6-month emergency fund. Fabulous. And this is the first time I've had to use it. I just got hit with a $3,000 car repair bill, and instead of running to finance a new vehicle, put this repair on a credit card or take out a personal loan. I was able to actually pay cash for the repair. Imagine that. If you have a full emergency fund saved up, then guess what? You can pay for repairs. You can buy a newer used car. You can do that if you have the savings instead of financing or leasing. You can do that. And the way you do that is that means you did not spend that money on anything else and you prioritize the emergency fund instead. This is the first time in my life I've ever been able to take a hit like this and not have to worry about paying rent or buying groceries after. Fabulous. Broad ad. 3990. The ad again, just means where it says AD right there. That's not an ad. That means it's just means it was a user ID that was suggested by the Reddit site. 32 man, and I feel frustrated, but because my financial dream still feels so far away, I feel like for me it's far away. I listen to Ramsey's philosophy a lot. I love it. Okay. Well, again, if you heard him a lot, you heard him probably say something like you cannot do something all at the same time. And people are nutty. Some people think you're supposed to do all of the baby steps at one time, and no, you're not. And you're actually, the baby step you're on is not any one you pick, or not the highest one you think you're on. It's on the lowest that you have, on the lowest one they have. So if you have a big expensive house, even if that's paid off, guess what? You're still in baby step 2 if you have non-mortgage debt. So, and that would be where you are, baby step 2. A lot of people like to say, I'm in step 6 because they're paying extra on the house while they're also paying off non-mortgage debt. So you're doing it wrong. Oh my goodness. So see, and look, my dream. Hey, guess what? Guess what? Not going to happen. Almost certainly all of these are not going to happen. You have to set priorities and not do them all. Especially, guess what? Not in 2026, not in 1 year. It's not going to happen. I bet. A better car, $20K more for that. Save for a home, $50 to $100K. Is that just the down payment? See, okay, if you want to get into a house, don't buy a better car then, you idiot. Quit being an idiot. Triathlon bike, 10K. Do you want the bike or the house? I would probably say the house is what you're going to put at the top of your list, and you should be doing investing in retirement as well. Do some all-inclusive travel every year plus 4K. No. Adopt a dog. That's going to cost 4K. You can find a dog cheaper than 4K, I bet. Travel for a 1-week seminar with Frank Lopvet that I dream about for years, 6K. No. I earn $105,000 a year in stable job. Well, if your rent is pretty good and you're not spending all your money, you might actually have enough to do this, but you're not going to be able to even buy a house. You're not going to have 100K making only 105K. You're not going to have that in 1 year. So maybe this just means attack 2026 as the first year of this. If you keep doing it, but you're not going to do all this crap in 1 year. Not going to happen. I save about 2K a month. Well, does that look like that's anywhere near, what is it? 100. We're going to the low end. That's 70, 84, 88, and 6. That's $94,000, babe. That's going to take years and years and years. 94 times 2,000 a month. That's a lot of months. Or, 2,000 a month time the number of months to get you to 94,000. I drive an old, ugly 2006 Corolla with the manual windows and no air conditioning. Live in a cheap rental, 1K per month. That's not bad. Monthly spending, including rent, is about 3K per month. What's the other 2K on? What could I do with that? I could lower that down, I'm sure, if I looked at your budget and saw what you were spending on. And then I got to say, hey, man, you want to go to those restaurants? You want to eat out a lot? Well, I guess you want to do that more than you want to do this 6-item list here. Then you get to choose, but you cannot do it all at the same time. Girlfriend still in college, that does not affect your money at all. Do not let it affect your money at all. If you guys get married, fine. It's your money at that point. No debt, that's fabulous. 15,000 emergency fund. You probably should not have, well, let's see, what did it say? 1,003, so 4,000 a month times 6 months, that would be 24. Okay, so that's like 5 months. Yeah, 3K a month. Oh no, 4K. 4K a month. That is about a little less than 4, like 3.5 months. Emergency fund of expenses, emergency fund. But some of these expenses I'm cutting out. I assure you, there's stuff that can be 20,000 invested for retirement or home. Those are two different things. So that's a no on that. It should be in a retirement account, and then you would not take it out to buy a house. Let's see. I finished to pay 60K student loan in April this year. Great. And since then, I've focused on funding emergency funds. Okay, great. Feeling debt-free was the best thing ever, having emergency money too, but my net worth is moving so slow, plus 24K a year. Yeah. Yeah. How would you attack 2026 to reach these dreams? I like challenge. Thanks you. Okay, my English not first language, maybe. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, Mr. 32-year-old man, supposedly adult. Or, yeah, looks like I'm... No, that's Dave on there. Or is that just Dave's picture on all of them? I don't know. Anyway, where are we at? Okay, so, but my net worth is moving so slow. I don't see increased net worth here on the dream. So if you do this stuff, other than the house, you're not increasing your net worth. Everything else, you don't get any net worth out of it. Not by a dog, not by doing traveling to a seminar. I mean, you may get companionship out of the dog. You may get some good things, but you're not increasing net worth by anything. A better car, that's still going to be a used car, so that's a no. That's a loss. Immediate depreciation, a loss. The only thing would be the house. That would be making your net worth go up. So, and people are so dumb that they don't understand that. I don't know what it is they think they can do with money, or why you would even expect it to work like that. It doesn't work like that. Stop being dumb. So in the dream here, if the dream is net worth, then do that and include it in that list. If it's not, then you don't get to do the net worth thing while you're doing all this 6-item list. Because you're doing everything except buying the house is going to make your net worth go down because you're spending money that you could be saving or applying to the house. So you, sir, are nutty. Unrealistic as well. So, but some people do. Some people read the baby steps. Some people listen to the show and they still think like this for some reason. I listen to Ramsey's philosophy a lot. Love it. Apparently you don't listen enough because you don't understand it. Information key 3816. How does Dave feel about doing a VA loan instead of a conventional loan? He doesn't like the VA, doesn't like the what's it called? FHA. Doesn't like that either because there's bad things that are involved with them. Let's see, pretty much the title. I've been listening to Dave on and off for the last 7 years, made a few mistakes along the way, and I'm currently working a plan to get out of debt by June. Okay, got a great idea. Concentrate on that instead of buying a house. And once you get out of debt, there'll be plenty of time to worry about this stuff or to be thinking. But people love to plan their entire life all at one time. They like to do that. However, if I want to get out of debt and purchase a house, obviously I will need either to save for an additional 2-3 years or utilize the VA loan program and get a zero down home. And that would be why he doesn't want you to do VA, because you're not putting any skin in the game. So that's a no. I never heard anyone, Dave, call about the VA zero loan. Well, they have, and he said no. Let's see what the cons. Whoops. Let's use it. Put the keys in the right spot. Cons of if of VA loan. There we go. While offering no down payment and no private mortgage insurance have distinct disadvantages, including a mandatory upfront funding fee, often 2.15% or more. Yep. Strict property appraisal requirements and limitations of primary residence only. Well, that one's fine because we don't get mortgages on rental properties or vacation houses, second residences. They can also face seller bias in competitive markets and may take longer to close. Yes. Nope. Big funding fee, non-refundable fee, 1.25% to 3.3% of the loan amount required, which can be paid upfront or rolled into the loan, increasing the overall debt. And all that's going to be a no. So if you can't look up cons of VA loan and understand how Mr. Ramsey might not like it, then you need to watch the show more or read some of his books or something like that. Dependent station 85, pay off debt or invest. Depends on what kind of debt. If it's the house, live at home. Okay, so if you were renting an apartment, that would be your home. So mommy and daddy's is not home. So it sounds like you're 26 and you have failed to launch so far. Let's see, since the paid off student loans, 16K. Saving 1K a month in high yield savings account will be a 7K at the end of December. It is my emergency fund and covers me for 5 months. The only debt I have now is a car loan. See, you're doing it wrong. You do not pay, you do not invest at all until you get rid of that. Not even in retirement. You do not do that. You need to get rid of that car loan. $26.3 thousand. Or the best thing you could do would be to sell it and buy a beater instead. Contribute 7%. You should not be doing that. Employer matches 3. I don't care. You should not be doing that. This is the Ramsey advice. I have a Roth IRA. I opened up 23 and threw in 1K in the beginning, and that's it. Yeah. So you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. So you're wanting to debt leverage by investing. So that's going to be a no for Mr. Ramsey. Good luck to you. To Roth or not to Roth, that is going to be almost always the advice. Let's see. Hello, I'm sorry if this isn't the right place to put this question. It's as good as anywhere. It fits as well as any other question, probably. A friend recommended looking here. My wife and I currently live in a very high cost of, it's supposed to be L, cost of living. I don't know what the A would be. With high income tax. Combined income with wife is 400K. Okay, so you think your little situation, because you have very high income tax, is going to be to not do a Roth so you don't have to pay money going in. You don't have to pay on the money going in. No, it's still going to be a lot more savings over the entire amount of gains if you do a Roth. That is not going to change even though you're trying to save money now instead of later in retirement. Combined income of wife is 400K. We're aged between 27 and 31. Both of us have fairly good jobs, security, and we will be leaving the very high cost of living area. Oh, area is what it stands for. Figured it out. Yes, dude. In roughly 2 years without a decrease in income. Okay, well then deal with it until then. You don't need to cheat. You don't need to. Well, I mean, if you already have it in a 401k and it's not a Roth, then do that. Otherwise, you would prioritize the Roth, any Roth account, and do a Roth 401k. Especially your Roth IRA, if you have a lot better options in that than you do in your work retirement plan. Sometimes you only get the choice of dumbass target date funds that don't make that much money. No home debt, we rent. Okay. Don't own cars, no personal, great. No credit card debt, great. We do have a lot of student loan debt. Well, you do that before investing then. You shouldn't be investing. You're doing it wrong. I don't care if you live in a very high cost of living area and your combined income with your wife is 400K. That's the beauty of the Ramsey advice, that it does not change with your little situation, even though you think you're a high roller because you're a high earner. And so that the advice is different for you. And again, that's the beauty of it. It's not. You do not invest until all of your, let's take a look at the baby steps. Why not? Why not? Until all of your non-mortgage debt is paid off and you have your full emergency fund. And then that's when you invest only into retirement. You do not save up money for the house in the market. You wouldn't do that anyway unless you have 5 years or more when you would be buying a house. But yeah, so they're trying to, let's see, we do have a lot of student loan debt, about 200 to 250, but with a pretty high chance of being forgiven. Heard that before. Not through PSLF, but a different mechanism. Heard that before as well, and it didn't happen. People have called Mr. Ramsey with those situations, and it did not happen. So, you know, it does happen sometimes. It's not a myth, but it doesn't seem to be happening as much as you people would like it to be. Also, you took out the student loan, right? You're making a lot of money. Pay your debts. Pay your debts. But the answer would be to Roth if you can. Now, if you make too much money, you might not be able to as well. Might not qualify for the Roth. Better work, 2510. But you wouldn't do it to just save yourself some money while you live in the high income tax area for another 2 years. No, you do not. You don't need to even change it for just 2 years. If you're going to be there longer, maybe, but that still would not be the advice. Paying off house. My father's financial advisor and lawyer told him to not pay off his house due to a rise in fraud. The financial advisor just wants him to invest more. Because guess what? Guess what? The financial advisor and lawyer doesn't make any money if he pays off the house either. So you always got to look at what these people that are giving you advice have to gain from it. And myself, I don't have anything to gain from it either way. So I could tell you anything, but I just say that the Ramsey advice is. And that's absolutely what you should do. And so, yeah, you do not invest more than 15% of gross income to retirement while you still have a house to pay. They told him that with paid off homes, it's easier for fraud to happen with forged titles. And that may be true, but that's not going to change the advice that the predators then use to take out HELOCs on the house and other loans. Has anyone heard anything about this? I have not, but it may very well be true. But that would not change the advice. Is it really that easy to defraud the county with a false title? I have no idea. Don't know. And again, this financial advisor may just want him to be investing more. So, and also, your father could take the lead on looking more into this instead of you just trying to run his life for him. I get it. If he's, especially if he's older, maybe doesn't have 100% of his mental faculties. I have a lot of problems saying that lately for some reason. Then I get it. You're trying to protect him from himself. That does happen as well. But, and see, that's the problem. When you ask a financial advisor who makes money off of you investing with them, if you should pay off the house, they don't want you to do that because then the money's going to pay off the house and not in their pocket. That's a Purina ad. This is Code Monkey See and Do. How do people not know about storm mode or compromise? It would seem that you would know about them. Even if you never heard of Dave Ramsey, you would understand if you have an emergency situation and how you might treat money differently then. And compromise, if you're married, you should probably understand compromise because theoretically you would have had to do that already if you're married at this point. Unless you agreed on absolutely everything. Otherwise, you are deciding together what to do, and that often involves compromise, or as we learned from Stranger Things, promise, compromise. It means you don't get completely what you want, I don't get completely what I want. It's halfway happy. So we did learn that from Stranger Things, if nothing else. So if you saw Stranger Things, you should know what a compromise is. Storm mode, I mean, I guess it seemed like it was always an emergency mode on that show. But sometimes people do not know. Let's get all the juicy details. Storm mode. Say if you have a crisis coming up like losing a job or unavoidable expense like a baby. And you're in baby step 2. Ramsey has a specific carve out for this. Yes, he does. You stop paying on debt and stack cash to pay for the expense or crisis. Indeed. He calls it storm mode because you see the storm on the horizon and prepare. Indeed. I've been noticing that plenty of the random what if or Dave says dumb thing could be clarified if people understood this concept. Right. Yeah, they're not playing because that's what they think about when you say, oh, all of my money is going to be going to the debt. Yes, unless you are in crisis mode, in storm mode. If you know about an upcoming expense that is a high amount and you won't be able to cash flow it just from 1 or 2 paychecks. And so then that's when you're in storm mode, and that's when you pause the baby steps right where it is. You still pay on the debt. You're only paying minimums though. Everything extra, you're just piling up cash until said expense or crisis is over. And compromise, yeah. Dave teaches that you need to get husband and wife on the same side or team, but he's often in favor of small compromises. Indeed, and they would, a compromise would supersede the baby steps even. Because I assume you want to stay married, and so you have to, make deals to keep everybody happy there. Dave teaches that you need to get husband and wife on the same. Oh, I did said that already. So me, compromise. Wife wasn't comfortable with a 1K emergency fund. We compromised and made a 30-month Emergency fund, this happens quite a lot, I'm sure. Isn't appreciably more than 1K relay. Justification station here. But it doesn't matter. It's a compromise, which you're not following the Ramsey advice 100% anyway. But compromise is necessary when you are married. But she feels better and she's bought in, and we start wiping out that debt, right? Which is a good thing from the compromise. So, yeah. Storm mode, we're down to my student loans, and we, for different reasons, come to believe we might lose our jobs. So we stack cash. We're up to 8,000 total. When the ball drops, I then lose my job as a software engineer. Team vaporized. Right now, months later, unemployment and our salary is enough. Hey, it's been months. Got a great idea. Get a job, even one that you think you're too good for, Mr. Software Engineer. This is crazy that people can't get a job and stay out of work for months and months and months and months. Let's see, it's about to run out. Employment about to run out. Get your ass to work. Looking for anything at this point? No, you're not. No, you're not, or you'd be working. Probably trades, no shame there. Yeah. You should have already been trying the trades. Why didn't you already? We're at 7,200 emergency fund because of storm mode, right? And that's not going to stay that much. Guess what? As soon as storm mode is over, that all but $1,000, or in your case, what'd you say, three? So $4,200 would go to the debt. Dave isn't nearly as strict about applying the baby steps as people seem to think. Yeah, if they don't realize there's a mechanism for saving during times of upcoming known expenses, or because of emergencies, if they don't know about that, then yeah, I guess they would think that it is. But that you're out for when you have an emergency, because you get to use common sense. Yeah, and a reasonable compromise isn't impossible. True. Now, that being said, about the compromise thing, his advice is still the best way to do it. And the spouse that doesn't think so is wrong about it. But again, you decided to get married. I assume you want to stay married, so compromise is going to have to be involved. 40K saved at 19. Proof recognition 309. Hey guys, there's more to it. So over the last 3 or so years, I've saved close to $40,000, mostly through work and my other side gigs. But a little more than 10% of the money did come from family. Okay, no shame in that. Most of the money is locked in a CD, not advised by Mr. Ramsey. Put it in a high yield savings account. That way you can take it out wherever you want, whenever you want, without a penalty. The rest is split between an high yield savings account and a checking account, a few thousand in Roth IRA I just created. See, you would not do that if you had, at 19, if you had college coming up. You would not start a retirement account. No, 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 and no. I plan on DCAing into my Roth and brokerage every month until most of my money is invested. Dollar cost averaging. I figured it out. I will need to buy a car in the next year. So that's what we would save up for first. Because the car is a 4-wall. Retirement is not the fourth wall. The fourth wall is not one of the 4 walls. Retirement is a baby step. Number 4. In fact, so you would also have your full emergency fund, which is savings that you never spend on anything except emergencies. Anyway, but I'm hoping to spend less than 8K on it. Great. And as we all know, you can find one if you look and aren't trying to buy a new car and aren't disappointed by anything that's not a new car or a certain brand or a certain year at minimum. I go to college for free, great, and live at home for another year or 2. Again, it's not at home, dude. If you rented, that would be your home. So, but you live with mommy and daddy. And so let's call it living with mommy and daddy for another year or two. And I will end up with very little student loan debt. You shouldn't have any. You shouldn't have any. See, you're thinking about it wrong. You know why? Because you're 19 and you're dumb as crap. Just like I was. I was dumb as crap into my 30s. So, I can't blame you for being dumb, but try to stop. Hopefully you'll listen to more Ramsey and realize, oh, he's telling me to not do the dumb crap that I want to do or that I'm thinking about. With all that being said, I have a few questions for people who've been doing this longer than I have. Great. Hopefully some of us will tell you to not do that dumb crap. I have a lot of goals in life, and guess what? You cannot do them all at the same time, you dumbass. Stop. How do I balance being young and having fun with being financially responsible after moving out in a year or so? Okay, here's how you do that. You set your priorities. If your priority is going to be the car, then you set the car as a priority. And so that's where all your money goes to. Or you said you want to spend less than 8,000, then great. Then if you have 40,000, then you still have a lot. And so you are going to need some money to move out. And you're going to need your emergency fund as well. And so none of that is invested. You don't invest any of that. No, 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 and no. People want to do everything at all at the same time, and the 19-year-olds, they love to watch Financial Bros, financial advice, and and they'll say, oh, invest right away, invest right away. No, you don't do that. That's not the Ramsey advice, and you are on the course. You're on the Financial Bro subreddit. You're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. But how you balance being young, you put it in your budget to do fun stuff. But also, you put in your budget, save X amount because I have these goals in mind that I want to do. And no, I can't do them all in 1 year, for example, like the other person was trying to do. But that's what you got to do. One of my goals is to be fully financially independent at a young age. Okay, guess what? Then that means you have to not balance being young and having fun so much then. See, this to the level of a regular 19-year-old, you cannot have this and this happen at the same time, so you pick. People are nutty that they don't understand that. Does this person, would love to talk to him or her, does this person actually think you can do both? So, I mean, if you limit the fun, yeah, I mean, you probably can, do it at least up to a certain level. But again, you don't have to do it at a young age. I mean, financially independent, if you are moved out of your mommy and daddy's house and you are paying for all of your expenses and rent, etc., then you are financially independent at a young age. Or I can put myself in a situation I don't need to work. Okay, so you're not talking about anytime soon. That's not going to happen before you're 30, boss. Not going to happen. Maybe 40, but again, you have to not balance being young and having fun in order to do that. So again, you cannot do all of this at the same time. Even these two things alone at the same time. You cannot do them. In order to be financially independent at a young age, you have to do almost no being young and having fun. Unless you end up making a whole ton of money, and that's fine. You can do that. But I wouldn't count on it. But want to and travel as much as I can. Quit your dumbass 19-year-old dreaming. I mean, that's great. If you have the money for it, knock yourself out. But if you are trying to be financially responsible, guess what that means? That means not traveling as much as you can. That means not retiring at a young age. especially not 30 or even 40 maybe. But if you get to 40 and you can retire, knock yourself out, do it. And short of want this money to buy me freedom, it's not going to happen. Not the 40K you have saved is not going to turn into millions of dollars without it being invested. You're not going to have it in a freaking CD and it forever and it do that. It's not going to happen. You are being nutty. You're being 19. It's not going to buy you freedom. It's not going to. So I can take sabbatical and be able to live off my investments for a while. No, you shouldn't even be doing investments yet. You're doing it wrong. Or take time off work to start a business in the future. What else can I do at my age to make that happen? Quit being dumb. You can do a little thing called be realistic. Let's see what the first one is. Don't go into life thinking you're going to have fun. The fun will come later. Right now, focus making sure every bill is paid. Yeah, you got that. Is this the OP? Oh, good. That sounds like overkill to be honest. I have good discipline when it comes to money. It doesn't matter. You're not talking about, you don't make enough to save enough to be able to do what you want to do. I plan on keeping a 10K emergency fund and over the next year, dollar cost average the rest of my money into Roth and other investments. That's a no. That's a no. You do not do that. It's not the rest of your money. It's 15%. Are you going to buy a house ever? When are we going to save for that? Etc. So you got to figure it out and you got to prioritize here. You're doing great for such a young age. I don't think so. Why do you or will you have student loan debt, right? If you got money, don't go into debt for school, right? I wouldn't be taking out student loans until my senior year. No, you don't do it at all. Why are you being stupid about that? Taking out loans is going to negatively affect you financially. Why don't you understand that? I'd rather keep my money invested and just pay it off with my job after college in a few months. If you graduate, you asshole, you might not graduate. You don't know what could happen. You don't know. But, 19, good luck to you. Keep, how'd you end up at Dave Ramsey? Subreddit. Keep watching Dave and maybe some smart soul get in your head there. 2_fingers. What would Dave say is an alternative strategy to financial peace if a person is not going to purchase a house? You can have financial peace and be a renter for life. You can. It's not advised because buying that house means you don't have, eventually will pay it off and you won't have a house payment or rent payment in retirement. You can still have financial peace. You have financial peace as soon as you get your debt paid off. You have like a bit, and it keeps adding to it the more baby steps you complete. We live in an incredible expensive area. Move away then. Purchasing a house is out of the question. Rent is crazy expensive as well. Move away from there or shut up and deal with it. If we cannot afford to purchase a house anytime soon, what would be a great alternative strategy to financial peace? Moving away from there. Or making more money. It's up to you. Or giving up your little way you're thinking about life. Is that what you need to do? Give that up. Well, being a renter and little hope of ever being a homeowner. You need to move away. If you cannot afford to buy a home, that's a good reason to leave. And so I would say that would be his alternative strategy for you. Move away or make more money, 100% up to you. Not saying either will be that easy, but you can do both of them. Baby says 4, 5, and 6 flare, and those are done all at the same time as applicable. Obviously, if you don't have children, baby step 5 does not apply. And if you rent, and you're not going to buy a house, then your baby step 6 is not going to apply to you, like this person, maybe. So in that case, you would just be doing step 4. Or just step 4 and 6. Or just step 4 and 5 without doing 6 if you don't have a house. Oh my! Watch the Ramsey show in person yesterday. Our experience. My wife and I went to watch the show in person yesterday. Great. Dave and Ken Coleman were the hosts from the time we parked the car just outside the front entrance until we left. We were treated like $1,000,000. We entered the building and the receptionist walked over, introduced herself, asked where we were from, gave us a complete rundown of how the show works. There were 2 large Christmas trees adorning the front entrance. This is from 2 months ago. I'm a little bit behind on these. That's also why I'm going over an hour tonight. Adorning the front entrance and an open seating area with high top tables and chairs outside the Baker Street Cafe, facing the glass where the show is held. The show airs from 4 p.m. Central. Got there at 12:40 a.m. I would have been there first thing in the morning, probably. And were some of the first people there. Yeah, I would have been there immediately, probably. Like, what time they open the lobby? That's when I would be there. Shortly after entering, grabbing a table at the front, Dave came to the studio to prepare, saying hello and waving to everyone upon his arrival. Every guest gets 1 free cookie and 1 free beverage from the cafe. If you ever have a chance to visit, get the strawberry shortcake cookie. It is out of this world. Sugar. And if it's free, it doesn't count towards your diabetes. I asked the lady working the counter which of the cookies was the best, and that's what she recommended. Even though most people opt for chocolate chip, they offer a variety of coffee, beverages, and also bottled water, iced tea, and lemonade. Every household who comes to watch the show also gets a Ramsey coffee mug to take home. The bookstore is next to the cafe, and there's a large lobby/hallway area that depicts the timeline of Dave's story from age 6 to today. It's like walking through a small museum with photos, video clips, and even a framed copy of the bankruptcy discharge sheet he and Sharon filed on September 23rd, 1988. There was a host. Yesterday it was Jody, who interacts with the audience and tells them what to expect, when to cheer, etc. Dave and Ken came out twice every hour to meet the guests, snap photos, and sign books. I was surprised at how small the audience was yesterday, maybe 25 to 30 people, plus a high school class that came in for a tour during the first hour and posed for a group picture with Dave and Ken. It wasn't crowded at all. We got to meet Dave and Ken during the first break of the second hour. They shook our hands, asked where we were from, and made small talk. I told them our story as Dave signed my copy of the Legacy Journey. Told him in 2017 we had $200,000 in debt. In 2025, we are debt-free and became baby steps millionaires last month. He and Ken congratulated us with, way to go, that's awesome. They couldn't have been nicer. After taking a photo, Jody handed us a gold Baby Steps Millionaire coin. Interesting, which was unexpected and much appreciated. I told Ken I was currently reading From Paycheck to Purpose and enjoying it thus far. He thanks us for coming, shook my hand again, and I thanked he and Dave for everything they do. It was a great experience. During the final hour of the show, a couple from Georgia and their 3 children did a debt-free scream. They were sitting at the table next to us during the show, and we chatted a bit. $127K paid off in 27 months. Wonderful story. As an unexpected bonus during the final hour of the show, Dr. John Deloney popped out from one of the hallways to get something from the cafe. I walked over to him to say hi, to say hello, and he gave me a, "Hey, what's up, dude?" That would be Deloney. John Deloney. John Deloney song. It's in my music playlist. As well as, what is it? 11 other Ramsey adjacent songs in there. As I told him, we saw he and Dave on the Money and Relationships tour when they came to our city back in the spring. Also told him my wife was a mental health counselor and pointed her out. He waved and says, "Man, she's doing the real work. We really appreciate people like her. Thanks for coming over to say hi." What a great guy. If you are ever in the area and have a chance to go by and watch the show, do it. It was such an awesome experience. Everyone was so genuinely nice and friendly. I feel like, for me, I went to the North Pole and met Santa and his elves. That's fun. That's fun. Yeah, I hope to get over there one of these days. We'll see. Fairwinds Credit Union from Fishman. George's video today mentioned that the Ramsey Show has partnered with them. They are. We've been looking to switch over our checking and savings to one with higher annual percentage rate, annual percentage yield, while we work on baby step 2. You don't have any savings on baby step 2 except $1,000. So you're planning on doing it wrong. And things go with the credit union based on the website. My big concern is that we don't live in Florida, but there are several partner branches nearby us. Has anyone switched over to them? How's the experience been? Baby step 2 player. You're planning on doing it wrong, almost certainly, because otherwise you don't need the higher APY. You don't need that. You have the wrong priority. You should be thinking about paying off debt and not saving money other than the $1,000 starter emergency fund. You're planning, sir, since it's Fishman, you're planning on doing it wrong. And I don't approve that. Not approved. Okay, context 3530, baby step 7 flare here, and so that's your build wealth and give. So theoretically, all done with all of the baby steps, or some of them never applied. Like if baby step 2 never applies to you, that's probably the best way to handle early finances. I paid the mortgage off today. Great. It was rather surreal. First and foremost, I thank God and Jesus Christ for my blessing. I am grateful to my country, the United States, for allowing me the opportunity to work hard to achieve the American dream. I read Baby Step Millionaires, and then the Total Money Makeover last year, and committed myself to paying off my mortgage. You mean you didn't want to do debt leverage and invest the money instead? And increasing my investments. Okay, well, you did it wrong then. You did it wrong. You should only be doing the 15%. So you did it wrong. Still got to step 7, so congratulations on that, but you did it wrong. Owed $192K on a house I bought in 2009 for $185K. How does it get to be more? The balance in keys because I did a cash out refinance for $55K in 2018 for a pool that was dumb as crap too. After reading the book and committing myself, I started working a second job at night. Great. Working about 65 to 72 hours and was able to pay. I get the bit, but you did it wrong. You were still debt leveraging, keeping the house mortgage around and investing the extra money instead of paying off the house faster. You did it wrong, but congratulations on getting to baby step 7 because there is no more now. And so now you can increase investments to whatever amount you would like. Congratulations. Trevor 96, got a 3 and zeros in there. To be cool, I don't want stinking the inheritance. Does that mean I don't want no stinking inheritance? 29-year-old male, no debt, and I'm working my ass off to fund an emergency fund. Great, working 12-hour shifts. 5 days a week and make approximately $72,000. I have younger 2 siblings, 27 female and 19 male. Embarrassingly, I decided to move into my mom's house this September because where I was living wasn't working out for me. How is it not working out for you? Because it was costing too much money? On 11/23 of this year, I discovered my mom dead on the floor. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, on the good part of it, did in September. So maybe 2 months though, but maybe you saw her more for 2 months before that. That's the only good thing about this. Natural causes plus alcohol use is what the death certificate said. Her cause of death was she has no will. Upon looking at financial documents on my mom, she had at least $130,000 in a pension. A few other retirement accounts that I don't know the balance of. It was $311K on her home, and it may be valued at. Okay, so the problem is owing her owing that, um, her money, her state is going to have to settle anything that's owed, and that would be first on the house. So maybe you can get the house sold and get out of that, happening, perhaps. Maybe if I had at most 500K, kind of extreme if you ask me. Well, then why didn't you say a more conservative number then? If the home sells for 500K, and between that and the pension is 100K for each sibling before attorney fees, taxes, right? You're gonna have that. So yeah, if you can sell it, before the lender gets involved. I don't know if the lender has to be involved for you. I guess they do have to be involved for you to sell it. But anyway, I'm going to be very specific with my language. I don't want the inheritance money. Okay, great. Do I need the money? Yes. Do I want it? No, not at all. I want my mom back. Of course. The money won't make me happy, right? Didn't earn it. I don't feel like I deserve it. Well, that's in your head, and you don't have to take it. You can let it be split between your two siblings instead. You can do that if you want to. I would think that your mom might want you to have a third of it. More money will come in time. From where? Oh, I don't want anything from my dead mom. Her invited me to live at our place so I could get out of the S-hole I was living in. Was a huge blessing. I don't want anything else. Okay. I mean, I get it. And especially, I'm sure you want your mom back, but you don't get that option, unfortunately. And I don't know. You think your mom would want you to have that? Probably. I know I'm not talking in my best interest, but I can build wealth through other means. Sure you can. If that's what you want to do, knock yourself out. I'm considering giving this money to charity or my siblings. Yeah, you can split it between them if you don't really want it. Something about taking this money is seriously bothering me because you think it's here, your mom's gone here, here's this instead. It's not going to take her place, obviously. I've not signed anything stating I forfeit my right to any inheritance. I've not decided. Okay, well then, quit talking crap then. Why don't you make a decision as far as what you're doing then? I understand you lost your mom. I lost mine as well. I mean, that doesn't give you, the opportunity to not be realistic. I know that's very hard to do when you're grieving, though, for sure. Perhaps this money would be better used to charity than my siblings. My name is Paul, and that's between y'all. You get to decide that. This is completely irrational when I should be thinking about funding my emergency fund and buying real estate. No, you don't buy real estate if you don't even have an emergency fund yet. No, you don't do that. You fund the full emergency fund and you rent and you save up money for a down payment. It's not going to be that much money. I don't know if it's going to be, it wouldn't be enough money for you to buy an entire house, probably, if split 3 ways. Maybe if it is 500, but it's not going to be that because you do have other lawyer fees and such that are going to be taken out of it. But the idea of taking this money feels so wrong. You get to decide. You get to decide, sir. But my advice to you: think about what your mom would want. She didn't say she doesn't have a will. Boo, 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 boo. Yeah, if she didn't have a will, that, the will would state what she wanted to have happen. And if that was that the money gets split between you guys, then, then I would take that to mean that's what she wanted. And I would probably err on the side of honoring that. Long salt 7541. Put every dollar to work. Car buying. I've been hunting for a car around 20K and found a used 2023 base model sedan with only 14,000 miles on it for 18,000. That's probably more than I would spend on a car at all. But all right, the sales guy even said he'd take off 500 when I asked if he could do a bit more. I kept asking to see the out the door breakdown, and he tried to get me to come in instead. Yep. He finally emailed it to me today, and there was a $600 fee that I asked about, and he said that was standard. Yep. This is why you don't buy from a dealer. Because then there's no sale guy, and then there's just the owner. I confirmed there were 2 keys for my husband and I, and he said, gosh, no, it would be $350 to get a second key. He said I had to get everything done today because the finance guy was taking tomorrow off. I get there, start to sign and stuff. I then see a warranty for interior. Yeah. This is why you leave the dealership out of it. Because they're going to try to get as much money from you as they can. They're not your friends. They are there to make money. I see a warranty for interior for $600 that it's optional. I asked, and yep, he marked it up. Then I see the paper with the sale price. He added $500 to the price on the loan paperwork and gave me a discount, which just brought it back to the list price before negotiations. Yeah, see, if you don't deal with the dealership, then you don't have to deal with the finance guy or the sales guy. Start asking questions. I'll show the finance guy / sales manager the email correspondence where the sales guy either lied or was vague. So they take off the $1,100. Then I ask about the second key to the finance guy, and he says, yes, no problem. We'll get you a second one, no charge. I said, are you promising me no charge? He said, yes, and that's what we always do. I said, your sales guy said it was $350. Overall, they tried to tack on $1,450 to an $18,000 car. Yeah, I was tired of long range. I was distracted by a work priority. If I hadn't checked the math and just signed it, that's what most people do. Before I started giving those dollars a job, I might have. But instead, I saved them for something else. As I type this, I'm laughing. But never trust a used car salesman. Never trust a new car salesman either. You need to do your due diligence. I wouldn't even take their, mechanic's word for it. I wouldn't take their word for it that it looks fine. I would have a mechanic paid by you or otherwise contracted by you. Some car shops will take a look at, will examine cars. We'll take a look at cars that you are planning on buying in hopes to get to do any work that they find wrong with it. And they may be, making up stuff or saying stuff that you don't have to do as well. But if it's somebody that you've used a while, as I was in that situation recently, then you just trust them. Yeah, and you don't know the guy at the dealership. Let's do one more. Giant sausage. All right. Giant. Allocated spending form. We have been using the same allocated spending form for years. My wife somehow deleted the only copy she had out of her email. Does any loan have the blank version of the form? Allocated spending form. We have been using the same one. Was that something given by Ramsey? Why would somebody have the same exact allocated spending form you have instead of a different one? Like that somebody else came up with, that somebody else designed. What would Dave do 2022? Payout. Okay, so your freaking username is what would Dave do 2022, and you created it in 2022. How come you don't know the answer to this? We saved a significant amount of money for me. That is kind of driving me insane. It's $130,000, and I don't see where you save more money than your full emergency fund. I don't see that in the baby steps, you idiot. Since 2022, that's been a minute, dog. Your username is WWDD, which is what would Dave do? You are an idiot, sir. I won't put it in a high yield savings account, but I'm afraid of online banks. Okay, so you are just nutty. No, it's not. That's not driving you insane. You already are. You already are. Not being able to access it immediately if needed. That should have already been put on the freaking house. You idiot. Don't invest it because I'm scared to take a loss on it. You're dumb. You're insane. You are. I already have a decent 401k. Why did you save it? My current thinking is pay off my vehicle loan of $29K. You're not doing anything of what would Dave do. Dave would not do any of your dumb crap. He would quit being dumb, is what Dave would do. He would tell you to quit being dumb. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're doing it wrong. You're doing everything wrong. How dare you have that user ID? I mean, if it means something else, sorry, and the person just doesn't know that, but you're still stupid. You're stupid. You're so stupid. You're so stupid. So you're doing it wrong. And something like this, combined with the user ID, I would think this would be a troll. This is all the money I have access to, so I don't want to do something with it. And then Murphy, well, you're not supposed to do anything with it. You're supposed to have the full emergency fund, and then after that, you're supposed to pay off the home. See, baby step 6, it says pay off the house early. Pay off your mortgage early. So you're doing it wrong, or you're insane, or you're just a dumb troll. And dumb is the only type of troll. Broken down mom, how much? Emergency fund, 6 months, an high yield savings account, no debt other than house. Grown kids, so skipping baby step 5. Okay. Ready to start paying off house. Yes. How much should I keep in regular savings account before I start buying the house? You should have no, you don't have extra savings. You can have sinking funds if you have known upcoming expenses, but you don't have, like this person, $130,000 in savings and still has a mortgage. You're doing it wrong. You're thinking about doing it wrong, and so you're nutty too. Any advice? It's advice. Advice is the noun. Advise is the verb. Any advice with a C-E would be greatly appreciated. Baby step 6. I don't see anywhere on here where it says save extra money other than the full emergency fund. Save extra money instead of paying off your house early. You're just as dumb as the other person if you read the baby steps and interpreted them that way incorrectly. Chicago Parrot, I will be debt-free 7 months ahead of schedule. And this often happens because once you start doing the Ramsey advice and you see that it's working, then you put more into it. You work more. You spend less money. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're debt-free 7 months ahead of schedule. That's how it happens a lot of times. I paid off so much debt this year. My last one is my car. It started the year off. Start the year off right at $19,260.88. It's my last debt. As of this post, I owe $89.29.70. I just crunched my December invoices and will be able to put $7,700 on it. I own my own pet services business. I have quite a lot coming in and a big bonus from my daily client. Great. This means I will only owe $1,264. We'll pay it off on my January draw. Cannot believe it. Thank you, God. Thank you, Dave. And thank you, me. Right. Right. I mean, God created it all. God created Mr. Ramsey. Mr. Ramsey spelled out the way for you to do this stuff, but it doesn't happen unless you make his advice happen. You have to make it happen. So yeah, you should put yourself first. And yeah, 7 months ahead of schedule. And so that on January draw. So that means it's February now. That means that debt is gone. Let's see what's coming up on the next one. Maybe one tomorrow night because I am working. 6 days mornings, 6 days of mornings, so there won't be any after shows, but I'll try to do quite a few 8 p.m. answering your financial questions streams. Educational play 8778, debt free at 28, retirement in the bloody UK. Bounce Betty, we saw something by her earlier. How do I maintain good credit score when using the Ramsey debit only method? You don't. You don't need a credit score for anything. Quit being dumb. Credit score is marketed so much to people, they lose their minds over it. You're dumb. You don't do, it's the opposite of doing the Ramsey advice. So you don't maintain a good credit score. You don't care about it. You don't need it. You know why? Because you only need a good credit score to borrow money. You don't need it. You don't need it to rent a car. You don't need it to buy a house. You can do manual underwriting. I've rented a car twice in the last 6 months from Enterprise with just a debit card. So shut up with your crap. You're dumb. What else we got? Debt free scream in the subreddit there. Anxiety around money and job loss, even at baby step 7. Is this normal? Sounds like it might be abnormal. Because your position of baby step 7 would indicate that you shouldn't have any anxiety around money, or job loss. But we'll see. Even if you do have job loss, depends on your age, etc., how close you are to retirement, etc., and then you just get another job. You're rocking your finances with a crap ton of debt. Well, then you're dumb as crap. Dumb paid off car is killing me. Then sell it. Sell it. Edit the car engine is total and will need a full replacement. Yeah, that's your dumbass fault for buying a new car. I'm assuming it was new at one time and you paid it off. Should have just bought a beater. And you could have bought several beaters in between the life of that car and been way, way, way ahead of where you are from paying it off. Baby step 2 question there or comment. How to not feel like paying off debt is taking a step backwards with savings. It is, because you're not saving money. You're making your finances better, but you're not saving money. See, people are so nutty. I don't know why they're so nutty like this. I don't know how they're nutty. See, it is taking, you should feel like that because it is taking a back seat. I do not see it. I see saving for the $1,000 here, and then I see step 2. And I don't see saving more money until step 3, and that happens after you're completely done with step 2. So you're nutty. And I'll say that again next time. I'm not quite sure where to start. 17, okay. Upside down car loan, that's a thing called stupid tax. You should sell it probably and buy a beater. And the money that you have lost because you bought a car loan, because you took out a car loan, that's called stupid tax. Congratulations. We've all paid it. Pay extra on mortgage or refinance to 15-year loan. No, you can just pay extra. You refinance. There's a closing cost fee on that, refinance fee. And so that would actually have you making more money or adding more to your debt. And so just pay it like it's a 15. And if it makes financial sense, if you would recoup your like if you're talking about 2% difference, then maybe it's worth it to refinance. It just depends on what your break-even amount would be as far as how much the closing costs are, the refinance fee is. How's buy finances looking? I think you mean how's my finances looking, and we'll see. Got a boat. I saw a boat in there though, so we'll see. Question about providing food. When to buy what? A house? Savings to buy a house, okay. Decided to do that more than, and you can take 2 years off of, or up to 3 years, I think, off of investing in order to save a larger down payment faster. That is fine. Ramsey investment philosophy. I like Dave's show and believe this is what everybody says about it. This is what not everybody, but a lot of people say this. Like Dave's show and believe position on debt and responsibility for his own life. What is challenging for me is his thought on investing. He's right on investing too. You quit being dumb, and I will explain that wants, see, the 1% fee, the financial advisor, if that makes you make more money than the dumbass index fund that this person is going to recommend for you, then he's worth it. So shut up with that dumb crap. People are nutty. Sell investments to buy a house in cash. If it's in a brokerage account, yes. And should I buy the house, new car, electric bike, or move my daughter's school? See, why does it have to be only one of these things? See, people are nutty. You're trying to do everything at the same time, or pick one out of everything at the same time. What's the priority of that? Also, you can't move your daughter's school. You can move her to a different school that will be in a different location, but you cannot move the school. So you're nutty as well. How or should I help my husband with his debts and marriage struggles? Well, when you get married, your finances should be all combined, but you guys probably have money issues, I'm guessing. Help make sense out of this caller's claims. All right, I will try when I get to that question. All righty then. What's more, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. It says that in the ticker below. Also, donations, paypal.me/coachstevemoney or to CashApp at $CoachSteveMoney, or you can do a Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And of course, again, for at least the next 6 days, there's not going to be any after shows because I'm working mornings. That fun 6:45 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. morning shift. Gotta love that. Not necessarily, but it's fine. So none of those. So probably answering your financial questions at 8 p.m. Not saying I'm going to do one every night, but I would say at least every other night. At least, and maybe more than that. Alrighty. And on the weekends, it wouldn't be an after show anyway, because there's no show to be after. So the weekends would be the 8 p.m. stream as well, Eastern time. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, just like it says right here, make smart financial decisions. Not just sometimes, not just every other day, but every day. Right? Thanks so much.